Um, we're gonna start with Western games are doomed, which I totally see. Yes, I mean, look at the difference here. I mean, what would you play? I mean, you play the hot Asian chick or the rapist? Ah, shit! I said the word. I'm not monetized anyway. It doesn't matter. So who you gonna play? The nice one? The weird dude that believes it's not a dude. Wait, is that even correct? I don't even remember. The ugly thing. Let's watch the video.
So I'm very much a homebody, almost embarrassingly so, and weekends are when I have the most time to dive into whatever game I'm currently playing through. Up until about 3 weeks ago, that was Clair Obscur, which, yes, I finally beat,
Oh,
but
that game,
this
yeah.
weekend was no different. It's midnight on Friday night, and I'm working my way through Stellar Blade while my half started copy of First Berserker Kazan is staring at me from my backlog. And as I was running around Zion, something just clicked
Now, let's go back.
from
Just
my backlog. And as I was
there. Cute. Cute. That's what I think immediately. Cute. Even I like to look at that. It's cute.
running around Zion, something just clicked. Both of these games have super fun, fluid combat. Both have
Sure.
very attractive protagonists. Both nail
Yes.
that one more try addiction that keeps you glued to your screen, and they're both Korean made. As I realized this, it hit me. When did Korean developers quietly start dropping all these bangers? I started looking into it, and I guess this has just gone completely under my radar, but developers from China and Korea, places that historically haven't made double or AAA titles, have really been knocking it out of the park lately. And obviously, Japan has always had their share of home runs too.
The thing is, they can do that now because the AAA games from the West, they are out so bad that the marketplace is open. That's one. That's, I would guess, one of the reasons why they do it. But also the technology is there that basically everyone can make a AAA game. And to be fair, the games that come from China and Korea and Japan, they look good. It doesn't mean that they're my kind of game when it comes to the gameplay. But I find the games look good, and of course the characters are attractive. I mean, that's very important. I mean, I don't want to play an ugly character. I don't want to play in a world where everyone is ugly. If I want that, I go outside and look at all the old people, mainly women. God, the women here are so ugly. Basically, all of them over 30. So ugly. And of course, the majority of them are unmarried and childless. Of course, the usual.
But these days, with how expensive games are becoming and with how awful some of our choices are, this really means a lot. We're naturally gravitating towards the games that respect our time and money, and over the past couple years, Eastern
Meanwhile, me playing War Thunder, which is totally not not valuing my time, and I know that. But to me, the game is still fun, even without hot chicks.
developers have been
Though I collect the pin-ups, which are hot chicks, which is completely stupid because it's irrelevant. The moment the server shut down, it's all gone.
pulling us in like a black hole, and I'm loving it. It's no secret that Elden Ring and the Soulsborne formula have inspired many of these Eastern developers. And how could they not? Elden Ring was a cultural phenomenon, and yes,
Yes,
I've seen gamers claim Souls-like fatigue, but I think that fatigue only happens when the game
I can totally see that happening. Fatigue is something that happens to everything. Every I can guarantee you there's a battle royale fatigue. Like, I haven't played a battle royale in quite a while, and I don't want to because I've played a couple of them, and it's enough. I want to play something else than a Battle Royale.
Games are bad. So just like what Mr. Gunn said, it's really just bad game fatigue. Here's the thing though, these Eastern developers saw the genuine love and excitement people had for this genre and thought, we can make something players will love too. Most recently, we saw this with Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Yeah, there were optimization issues at launch, but you can still see that this smaller team was genuinely trying to make something they thought would resonate with players. And since launch, they've apologized, they've released patches, and they've even given away in-game loot. Come on, they're obviously doing their best and working for us. They made this game for us, the players, and they want us to enjoy it and love it. That's the difference. Some developers are genuinely trying to make games with us in mind, and others just...
I mean, sure. I mean, I'm not denying that. But if a game is completely buggy when it comes out, and we are talking here about, Eastern games, not the West. The Western developers don't care about the players at all. They don't. And you know it by, just looking at the games. They aren't made for players to be played. They aren't. They very obviously aren't.
And the crazy thing is that these Eastern developers haven't discovered some secret formula. They're not doing anything new or groundbreaking. They're just getting back to the basics.
Yes, getting back to the basics and making something good, that it works. Of course it does. Make a basic game that's good, make the characters appealing, and you win. It's not like people want, grand new things all the time. No. People like what they like, and if you give them something they like, they buy. It's not magic.
Making games that respect players and want them to have fun. So all of this got me thinking about the state of our industry. What is happening with Western developers and how are they so far behind their Eastern counterparts?
Because the people are retarded. Well, you can argue that the people in the East have soul, and that's why they create beautiful things, and the people in the developers in the West don't have souls. They are all ugly on the inside like they are on the outside, and that's why they can't create anything good and nice.
Now, before we get into the whole East versus West thing, let's be real. The gaming industry is getting squeezed from every direction. We've now got credit card companies trying to censor gaming content, games disappearing when servers shut down, hence the Stop Killing Games initiative, rising development costs making everyone risk-averse, live service pressure from investors, the prioritization of modern ideology over good gameplay, and us just paying more than ever for games that we don't actually own. The entire industry is...
Yeah, it's a problem, and it's not just games. You have to pay a subscription if you have a BMW to use the heater for your seat. You have subscriptions everywhere, and that's not a coincidence. That's planned by the people that, own all these companies. They're all the same people.
Is getting hit from all sides. Eastern developers, Western developers, everyone's facing the same stuff one way or another. But how these developers respond is what tells you everything. When faced with the challenges, some developers are doubling down on actually caring about us, the players, because they understand we're the ones who can actually help them succeed, while others have just stopped listening to us entirely. So
the West. I mean, look at Ubisoft. Ooh. Thank God I haven't bought any Ubisoft games since The Division 2. Yes, I bought that game. Yes, I played that game. And it's basically not more than just a DLC for The Division 1. That's what that should have been. I can't believe that they are making The Division 3. That's so stupid.
So let's do a little dissecting of what the West has been up to. Now, be warned, it's a little bit depressing, but don't worry, we'll get through it together. And then we'll look at how Eastern developers are truly here to save the day and how not all hope is lost. Going back through gaming history, it's such a bummer because there was a time when Western AAA developers actually worked to make games with us in mind. You could
Yes, and some still are, but they are the indie developers. If you look at the big developers, you can completely forget them. Completely. They're done.
truly feel that they really cared about what we wanted. Remember Assassin's Creed 2? Ubisoft spent years reconstructing Renaissance Italy with historian level accuracy, all while giving us a beloved protagonist and story that made you care about the world even more. It wasn't just for profit or to push some agenda. The team behind the game clearly had pure love and passion for what they were making, and it was obvious that they wanted the players to enjoy it. BioWare used to obsess over connecting with players. They'd spend months, years perfecting conversation systems and Mass Effect and Dragon Age because they understood.
Man, I really liked playing Mass Effect 1 and 2. 3, absolutely not as much, because... but 1 and 2, I enjoyed it. Like, I really did. I mostly enjoyed interacting with the Sony and the other alien girl. Because, of course, that's how it is. Of course. I mean, would you expect anything else?
That's how we bond with the characters. Thousands of lines of dialogue, branching narratives that actually mattered. It was all because they knew that's what their players would love. And Rockstar, their track record speaks for itself. GTA, Red Dead Redemption, they are making games 100% catering to the player's experience, which is why I'm really hoping GTA 6 doesn't disappoint. But across the board, going back through gaming history, there are so many examples of games that were made by people who wanted to bring players joy. You could feel the love in every mechanic, every system, every decision. Western AAA gaming was in its golden age. So, what happened? Well,
Politics. It's that simple. Politics. I mean, it's not that hard. It's politics. I mean, what is this? Yes, it's politics. 100%. The people that want to change the world to a better place go to these companies and ruin the games by injecting their politics. That's what's happening, literally. And they're encouraged by the people that, you know, made them the way they are. AKA the NGOs that are being financed by certain people that also own the companies. You know? Almost like there's a conspiracy going on in the background.
well, looking at the state of the industry right now, it's clear that so many studios have replaced respect and passion with greed, contempt, laziness, and just nonsense.
Agreed. One deadly sin. Um, what was the other? Laziness. Another deadly sin. There are two sins already. That's bad. Don't forget lust. Because all the LGBT thing, that's all lust. So three deadly sins. 3 of 7. That's quite good. That's quite good. It's actually really good. And then you have to imagine, I don't know what commandment it is. You shall not something basically want your neighbor's wife, farm and animals. Basically, that's it. And that, it's also what they want. They're because they're that's basically just jealousy. And of course, they are jealous of people that have things. But the thing is, a lot of the people that have things work for them. People that are middle class, they are working for the things that they have. Now the poor people don't see that because they're a lot of poor people are just stupid. That's why they are poor. A lot of poor people just can't handle money. That's why no matter how much money you give them, they will always be poor. If you give them $100 million per month, they will always be poor. They will always be broke because they can't handle money. Handling money is actually kind of hard. You have to understand, budgeting and things and not spending more than you have, which a lot of people are too stupid to do. But the thing is, if it's some part is an education thing, but some part is just, they're too stupid. Like I see with my mother. My mother spends money on things that she doesn't need. My mother is in her mid-70s and she just got a new couch. The old one was just fine. Was just a couple of years old. Completely fine. Want a new one. And now she probably doesn't have enough money to pay for a funeral. That's stupid. I wouldn't have done that. But I'm smarter than my mother. But that's not hard.
Started shipping broken games at full prices that continue to creep up, cramming in microtransactions and live service monetization, expecting us to pay for unfinished products, then buy the rest as DLC. They've let cultural pressure override what we actually want. Now character designs have to go through committees that are terrified of making anyone attractive or appealing. They prioritize poorly executed modern ideologies over actual compelling narratives and characters. Everything they do at this point is for what the modern audience desires, but where are they?
Yeah, she doesn't understand, just like Asmongold. It's like Hirsch says, they want to create the modern audience. They want to create the modern audience. That's why the modern audience isn't there yet. It's not created yet. That's why all the old movies and games and stuff are all disappearing. Same with music. I mean, I remember I listened to rap and hip hop when I was a teen and up into my 20s all the time. I don't anymore. Why? Because all the modern stuff is shit. And that's what they want. They want shit. To influence stupid people to do stupid things. And it works very well. I mean, you can just look everywhere. It's very obviously working.
Is this audience, and why aren't they buying these games? I mean, just look at the lineup over the last few years. The Concord team allegedly spent well over their $200 million budget just to make both a game and characters that appeal to no one. And then they shut down after 2 weeks. Dragon Age: The Veilguard was in development for 10 years and is somehow still launched.
I don't believe that. They might have written down things 10 years ago. But the development of the game, the actual development, never 10 years. Never. Not even close.
Launched with insanely awkward and lecture-heavy dialogue in a game where dialogue is everything. The Saints Row reboot, with over $100 million budget, completely ignored fan concerns and just steamrolled ahead to failure and ultimately the developer's demise. And don't even get me started on Ubisoft. Star Wars Outlaws only sold 1 million copies in its first month, despite their massive marketing spend.
They will never make the money back. Never. The game is just too bad. I mean, it's not... If you have to see the videos of it, I mean, holy cow. The AI is so bad, it's incredible. The game is so scripted, it's horrible. And then you are a criminal, but you can't steal from anyone else but the police. Makes no sense. You can't, hunt down animals because you can't do that because that would be bad. It's so dumb. Oh God.
causing their stock to crash to a 10-year low. Then there's Assassin's Creed Shadows and Skull and Bones. Flop after flop with these same
Yes.
awful formulas, costing the company over 178 million in losses for the last year. And their CEO keeps making these tone-deaf comments about it all. He can't be stopped. The list goes on and on. Suicide Squad, Redfall. What's the result of all of this? Mass layoffs across the industry, studios shutting down, and these companies bring all of this upon themselves. They cut corners, push low
Yes.
effort development, and chase that mythical modern audience instead of truly serving the players who are actually.
Well, one thing is that I can guarantee you the investors, well, the BlackRock and stuff like that, at least partly forced them to do that because they are all about the modern audience. They want to create them because the owners of BlackRock want that. It's that simple. But the other people that take part in BlackRock and are invested in these gaming companies, they don't want that. They just want a return on their investment, and they don't get that, and they get angry, and that will have an effect.
Supposed to buy their games. Studios that have been around for decades are getting shut down left and right because
Yep.
they followed these awful formulas, prioritizing monetization over quality, ideology over gameplay. There has been so much money wasted. This is basically the state of Western AAA games. Like I said, depressing. I mean, these are supposed to be some of the best of the best. We're talking millions of dollars here, massive teams, huge historical successes, and somehow, so many of their recent titles felt like they were made by people who just didn't care.
We have to be clear here. Only because the company has the same name doesn't mean the same people work there. It's just like Blizzard. All the old guard that made all the good games are all gone. Who is there now? People who have no clue what they are doing. And that's why everything is shit. It's literally that simple.
Or at least didn't care nearly enough. And we're at the point now where it's become so easy to recognize that disconnect and the lack of effort. I mean, you can basically tell immediately when you see a new trailer whether or not the game is gonna be a hit or a miss. Yes,
Oh yeah.
still looking at you and that beautiful glistening head. But
Oh yeah. That game gonna be a flop, 100%. Every gamer that has seen the games coming out in the past 5 years, that look like that, and they go, yep, no. We already know how this is going. And it's Naughty Dog. They have made The Last of Us 2. No one liked that game, except for a couple of weirdos. And that will be the same.
gonna be a hit or a miss. Yes, still looking at you and that beautiful glistening head. But all of this brings us to good news. When you look at what's been happening in the East, the small teams of developers in China and Korea are fighting to put out double and AAA games while facing these same pressures, and so many of them are succeeding. The passion for what they do is shining through. They're fully focused on respecting their audience and giving us, the players, what we want. Fun fact.
Because that makes them money. And the thing is with especially China, they are already communists, so they don't have the globalists punching down on them to try to make them, do what they want. The Chinese government is like, make money. Make money, make money, make money. We need that. Make money. Because the Chinese government is desperate for money. Because the economy is actually not that great.
Black Myth Wukong's team spent 4 years traveling around China to 3D scan real locations out of pure love and authenticity. You can feel how much they cared about the source material, story, and the characters. I love that little Buddha. And they shared that
cute.
passion with us at every step. And you know what?
That maybe not cute, but you know what I mean. Something that interesting you would never see in a Western game these days. Never. Because look at it. That's interesting. When have you seen something like that in a Western game? You know, something actually interesting. I don't know. The Witcher 3? 10 years ago? Yeah. Oh, The Witcher 4. Jesus, I don't think that will be great.
It worked. Black Myth Wukong cost around 42 million to make and has sold over 25 million copies. That's
Yes, but if the guys would be paid like, you know, people in the West, it would have cost more. Way more.
what happens when players feel like someone actually cares about them versus trying to force things on them that they don't want. Stellar Blade gave us a beautiful
Jesus.
female lead and calculated physics for every single movement, while refusing to
Nice.
compromise on a 60 FPS. The game launched pretty much bug-free too. That's them caring about our experience, and you can feel it in every animation, and the numbers prove it. Stellar Blade hit 3 million copies sold, with 1 million copies on PC in just 3 days when it launched on Steam.
That's awesome numbers. It is. It's awesome numbers.
I mean, that's a legit accomplishment, right? A pretty protagonist and good gameplay really are an unbeatable combo. Another recent
Yes.
one is Lies of P. They took the Souls-like formula and crafted this haunting, twisted, Pinocchio-like world with such attention to detail and polish that showed genuine love for both the fairy tale and the players who love this genre. The market responded, and Lies of P sold over 3 million copies, hitting 1 million in its first month alone. And this also
That's
just
nice.
gives me a chance to say, Eastern developers across the board are not afraid of making games that look good, attractive,
Yeah, why would they? The ones in the people in the West are, because they will face backlash by the mob, you know, the anti-fascist mob that, you know, surprisingly exactly behaves like fascists. Who could have guessed? Except everyone that listened to Churchill, who said that the fascists of the future will call themselves anti-fascists. He was right. Very obviously, he was right. And it's simply that, yeah. The developers in the East, they don't face any backlash in their population, like at all. There's no one coming for them. It's all people from the West. What a surprise. The ones who are, you know, anti-colonists want to tell people in other countries how they are supposed to run things. Oh, who could have guessed?
beautiful characters that aren't trying to check boxes, but are just trying to draw the player in and add to their experience and enjoyment. No intentional nerfing of their looks, no agendas, no ulterior motives, no nonsense. Just good-looking, pretty, attractive characters and designs. And I've said this
Which is exactly what everyone wants. Everyone that plays games. Now there are games journalists who don't want that because they get angry when they see beautiful people because they themselves are so ugly that they don't look into the mirror because they will start to cry. And if they see beautiful people that are more beautiful than them, even fictional, they start to cry too. That's what's going to happen here. That's what's going on. It's very obvious. I mean, just look at them. Ew. It's very, very obvious.
before, but I don't understand why this is so hard for Western developers. Stop making your characters less attractive on purpose. But getting back on track, are all of these Eastern games perfect? No. I
No.
had the occasional frustrations with Black Myth's hitboxes, and I wouldn't say Stellar Blade's story is my absolute favorite, but here's the thing. They are trying.
The thing, as long as the story is passable, it doesn't matter. If the story is really bad, yeah, then even the gameplay and the hot characters are, you know, can't really save the game. But if the story is passable, gameplay is fun, and the characters are nice, yeah, it's a win. It's not that complicated.
Just like with what I was saying earlier with Wu Chang, they're clearly trying. They're at least putting in the effort, and you can easily see that these developers are working to make something they hope will love. The genuine care still comes through, even if the execution isn't always perfect. Yes, we want to get our money's worth and don't want to buy broken things, but from what I've seen across the internet, we're not expecting perfection, even at the AAA level.
Of course not. We know some things might be a little buggy or messed up or whatever. But if the gameplay is fun and if the game is fun and yes, there's one thing that's whatever, that's not the big problem. The problem is that the games from the West are also mediocre or bad that you look at them and you're like, ugh. Just ugh. And you move on. Play something better. Which isn't hard to find. Like, I can play games from 20 years ago, they are better than modern games. Well, modern games from the West. It's not hard at all. It's actually easy. And they cost only a fraction of the money. Or I buy a indie game that's $10 and it's better than AAA games. Which is not hard. Because AAA games are that mediocre. It's really not hard.
If you can see that the developer is valuing and respecting us, we're genuinely pretty forgiving, right? And it's clear that these developers are at least attempting to do that and serve their audience well, even when they don't nail every single thing. The total gap and difference between the approach to development between Eastern and Western devs is just so massive at this point. It's almost like they're going in complete opposite directions of each other. One is obviously right, and the other thinks they're right while blindly charging ahead into the fire. And since we're talking about developers serving their audience, I feel like I can't make this video without at least mentioning that there are still some incredible Western indies who are fighting the good fight. Clair Obscur.
See? Indies. Indies. Exactly what I said.
With Sandfall Interactive pouring love into every story beat, accompanied by great gameplay, sold over 3 million copies, and now they're having meetings with Square Enix. I'm not a card girl, but Balatro was made by one person.
I hope Square Enix will only be the publisher. And hey, Jacob, because I hope they don't sell out to Square Enix, because that will destroy their studio completely. Just like every other studio. Working for Square Enix as, you know, Square Enix publishing you, that's fine. They're financing your game, that's fine. As long as you are the ones with all the control about, you know, the game. That's the important thing. Now, if you give that away, then you're done.
Over 2.5 years and sold over 5 million copies, finding real success with its audience. Animal Well spent 7 years in development to.
I have no idea how this game plays, but this art screenshot, I don't know, looks at least interesting. And I like the art style. Which is more than I can say about basically everything in AAA.
Create a highly praised Metroidvania that, during launch month, outsold every first.
Final Fantasy died after Square Enix? I'm not sure. I mean, the games are still, you know, successful. But I'm not a giant Final Fantasy fan. Like, not at all. I've played 3 of them and not finished any.
First-party Nintendo game on the Switch's eShop. Great job. And another Crab's Treasure, the Souls-like from Aggro Crab, reached 500,000 copies sold in just over 3 months, with the developer saying, "You can't engineer virality, but you can put heart into the game." Heart.
Yes. And Asmongold has played the game and he says the game is actually good. And the thing with Asmongold is, he doesn't say those things without him actually thinking that. And the game, I mean, to be fair, it was very successful, so it has to be good. Now that's but just because it's an indie game. If it would be a triple A game, that then being successful doesn't mean a lot. I mean, Call of Duty is very successful. Doesn't mean the game is great. I mean, it's literally the same game every year being released every year.
That's what we're talking about. Baldur's Gate 3 has sold over 15 million copies. You can feel
Wow, that's a lot. Holy cow. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's massive. Holy wow. I'm impressed, like really impressed. This is something.
how much Larian loves this game along with its audience. Hogwarts Legacy sold over 30 million copies because someone finally tried to give us the Harry Potter experience we've always wanted.
Holy whoa, 30 million copies. I mean, if you just let's just random number. Let's just it's $10. If it's just $10, they, they made 300 million. But it's not. It's I think it's 60. So they made $1 billion. That's a huge success. That's massive. That's incredible. That's awesome. Holy wow. That's wow. I have no words for this amount of success. Jesus Christ.
When you look at these games, you can clearly see a difference versus all the Western flops, right? The AAA disasters with their massive budgets will continue to be completely outperformed by developers who show genuine love, care, and appreciation. The pattern is crystal clear. When developers make games for us, we respond, even when the games aren't perfect. That response
Yes, because the games doesn't have to be perfect. They just have to be good and fun. That's all it needs to be successful. Now, not 100% because there are a lot of indie games that are good that have zero success because they just go down in a flood of new games coming out because there are so many games coming out each month that you can't possibly play all of them. It's absolutely impossible. That's also a thing that's going on.
sends a clear message that developers who try will be rewarded over developers who couldn't care less. And that message is creating a beautiful renaissance. You know that moment when you start a game and within minutes you're like, oh, this is gonna be good. That feeling is
Yes. The last game that did that to me was Tower Dominion. Like this one. I have 165 hours in it. It's a tower defense game. And this game is completely activating the German inside of me. Like completely. When I start playing the game, I can't stop. Until I'm in so much physical pain that I have to stop. It's insane. That's how addictive this game is to me. It's horrible. I love it.
coming back to gaming. Because when developers prove that actually caring about players works, it gives everyone else permission to care again too. When studios see Black Myth Wukong making $1 billion or Stellar Blade having immediate success on Steam, suddenly the whole industry has to choose. Start actually thinking about your players, or watch the developers who do care about us leave you behind. This success is spreading. More
Yes.
Chinese and Korean studios are feeling confident that caring about players works at a AAA scale, and they're branching out beyond Souls-likes into every corner of gaming.
I hope so.
RPGs, horror games, action titles, bringing that same respect for players wherever they go. Just look at what's coming. Tides of Annihilation, which I'm super excited for.
I like the art of everything I see here. And of course, I'm a man. She's attractive, so I like.
Phantom Blade Zero, Blood Message, Crimson Desert.
Oh my god, manly looking man. Oh my god, is this allowed? And the thing is, they look manly and are attractive. Is this witchcraft? This looks actually intriguing.
They're finally launching, hopefully. Project the Perceiver, doing this philosophical storytelling thing. Show.
Oh. I stopped at the right moment. Showa American story. Isn't this a Yakuza story but in America? Oh boy. To be the most intriguing thing about this is, of course, her. That's where I'm looking at. Oh, how could I not? I mean, that's why she's there. To be fair, that's the only reason she's there.
American Story, tackling alternate history. That feeling is coming through in every trailer, every gameplay reveal. These developers are trying to make something we'll love. And every game we buy is a vote for what kind of industry we want. When we support developers who make games for us, we're funding care over corporate nonsense. And right now, especially, our purchases matter because the developers who get it are fighting for us and fighting to keep that focus alive. Here's what I really believe. This isn't East versus West at all.
It's not.
It's genuine care and passion versus contempt and disrespect. Developers.
It's people creating beauty and ugly people creating ugly. That's what I say.
Who build with their audience in mind versus studios who've stopped thinking about us entirely. And after all of the chaos that's infected gaming development over the years, I still feel genuinely hopeful. We're proving that our voices and our wallets do make a difference and that the future of gaming will be written by the developers who value what the players want. The Renaissance is real and I can't wait to see what comes next. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. Are you feeling this shift too? What are some of your favorite games lately? Ones that clearly had a passion and respect for the player. I would love to hear your thoughts because honestly, my backlog is never big enough. Thanks again for being here and I'll see you in the next one.
Great video. Great video. Giving it a like, and here's the link. It's awesome. This was great. I really like